There were quite a lot of discussions earlier in the month regarding a new indie Kickstarter game. The game in question is Sense, a cyberpunk ghost story. Sense is a Kickstarter game that was funded back in 2018 and is an adventure horror game. The title was released on PC via Steam last year and then made its way to the Nintendo Switch this year on January 7th. The game also has a PS Vita, PS4 and Xbox One version to follow sometime soon. The game is described as a 2.5D horror game inspired by Clock Tower and Fatal Frame, mixing cyberpunk with traditional Cantonese folklore. With careful attention to pacing, atmosphere and storytelling, Sense hopes to return the horror genre to its roots by celebrating visceral horror and the slow, fearful creep of dread. Taking a look at the game, you can see that the cyberpunk setting is quite prominent, and also the game has a very distinctive style of anime-like character designs. The game's publisher, Top Hat Studios, made a statement earlier in the month, however, regarding the game. They released this message over on Twitter, which reads, "Statement regarding censorship demands of Sense, a cyberpunk ghost story." This tweet went on to get over 5,000 retweets and nearly 20,000 likes. The message communicated that apparently the developers and publishers received quite a lot of hateful messages directed towards them due to the game's character designs. They were apparently accused of encouraging violence towards women and that the game somehow broke the law. And then allegedly they received threats of getting review bombed, their distributors being harassed, and even going as far as to receive death threats. The publishers stated at the end of their message, however, that the game will not be censored and that they categorically refuse. And then aside from the main statement, the Twitter post also said, "Our commitment to our audience and to developers is we will never infringe on creative freedom or expression." With the large amount of support and engagement that this post received, it seems that many appreciated this message and also stood with the publishers. However, there were some people who instead thought that perhaps this was just some kind of big marketing stunt or something. This then led to the following day the publishers making another post which provided many screenshots of the types of messages that they had been receiving. And as the publishers said, there was some pretty extreme stuff being directed towards them. And so instead of listening to these demands, or perhaps on the other hand just staying quiet, the publishers chose to go public about the matter and also make a very strong anti-censorship statement. As for the game itself, again it's a 2.5D horror adventure game. It is controlled from a point-and-click perspective, and if you're a fan of adventure titles like the classics back in the 90s from LucasArts, or perhaps if you're a fan of the horror genre, then Sense, a cyberpunk ghost story may have something that you're after. Also, whilst the game is currently only available via Steam or Nintendo Switch, pre-orders have just opened up for the physical Nintendo Switch release exclusively at PlayAsia. PlayAsia are of course longtime friends of the channel, and so if you were interested in picking up a copy of this game or any other game, you can save 5% by using the discount code censored at checkout. There was a Vita version available, but it was a limited edition that was limited to only 800 copies, and it ended up selling out only 15 minutes after pre-orders opened. For the Nintendo Switch limited edition, only 2,000 copies will be produced, and it's currently still got some available, but due to all of the demands for the game, it's very likely that copies will sell out soon. However, aside from the limited editions, there is a standard edition Nintendo Switch version available to pick up, and again, physical versions are exclusive to PlayAsia, so check out the link in the description below if you're interested in checking them out. What are your thoughts on the Sense, a cyberpunk ghost story situation? As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, thank you for watching.